please ensure that you have read and understood all instructions on the screen before undertaking this job. Start by parking the vehicle on flat, level ground with the handbrake applied. Turn the vehicle off and ensure both front and rear wheels are suitably chocked and the vehicle is safely secured before proceeding.
What's up guys, Mitch here from Superior Engineering. Today we're going to be installing one of our rear Nissan Patrol Panhard rods to a GU Patrol. We've also secured the diff here. As we're working up on the hoist, you don't want the diff to just swing away as it will. So when you're working either on jack stands or on the ground or up on a hoist like we are, using something underneath the diff, whether it's a trolley jack and you've got the vehicle on jack stands underneath the chassis, holding the weight of the vehicle. That way you've got a bit more control over this diff housing, just making it safer to work under the vehicle. Obviously, first things first, we start by ripping the old Panhard rod out. Now the old one's out, we can begin installing our Superior Panhard rod. Obviously making sure the engraving is read like a book. It's pretty obvious with this thicker bush here down at the diff end. So at the diff end here, there's a specific way you have to fit these washers here, and they've got to be concave like this, with that sort of edge of it facing outwards here. This is to help compress the bush. That way, this won't come loose. If you don't have this set up right, the Panhard rod can actually walk off the bush because it's not compressed correctly, and you can have that Panhard actually pop off the vehicle. Now we haven't adjusted this to a specific length as yet, purely for the fact is we'll do that once it's down on the ground, because yeah, you obviously can't align the diff whilst it's up in the air, not sitting at its correct ride height. We also going to leave all of your bolts loose. You do not want to do these up whilst the vehicle's up in the air, whether it's on jack stands or on a hoist like we're working on. When you lower that car back down on the ground, it's going to load those bushes up, and that is going to cause premature wear on your bushes. We see it all the time where bushes flog out super quickly from being done up in the air. When it comes to aligning your Panhard rod underneath the vehicle, what you want to do is get a measurement that you know that you can replicate on exactly both sides of the car. We use a straight edge just outside against the wheel here, measuring from that straight edge into the chassis. So you can see this one is essentially 40 centimeters out, or 400 mil, from the inside of the chassis, or outside of the chassis rail to the outside of the wheel here. Now we're going to go to the other side and check the differences in those measurements on the other side of the vehicle. We come around to this side, we can now measure this side of the Panhard rod for the exact same measurement. We can see from that, straight edge on this side is 415 millimeters. So you've got a 15 mil difference in the Panhard rod there. So now we've got to adjust that Panhard rod by essentially half of that measurement. So it's 15 mil, we know the other side was 400 mil out, this side's 415. So we know that we've got to halve that measurement to 7.5, and that diff's going to sit central under the vehicle. Obviously, you need to work out which way it needs to be adjusted, and whether you're shortening the Panhard rod or lengthening it, but the same process goes. You just need to get half of that measurement and pull the diff. Either way, it needs to work underneath your vehicle. So we've got the car set up here with a ratchet strap, pulling the diff side to side. We've had to push the body that way on the vehicle or to the driver's side. So we've got the strap pulling the diff back to the other side of the vehicle, and that way that gives us the ability to line the Panhard up super easy with your bolt hole here, slide your bolt in, then we can loosen this strap off, get it all set, and we can put it on lock, put some Loctite on and torque it up. All of our Superior Panhard rods use a double lock nut system. This is just way stronger than a single lock nut system. So we're just going to pinch these both up, right up against the adjuster thing as tight as we can. Pretty much the only thing you're going to get that's that big is a big shifter. Virtually the only way you do it, just making sure you look after it and don't round the nuts off, what these bad boys are really good for. So any jobs we have here in the fit bay, when we fit any components, and once we've got the bolts torqued up and Loctited, we make sure we put a pen mark on every single bolt, making sure that there's a witness mark, so if anytime you jump under the car later on when you're working on it, and you see that one of these pen marks isn't aligned, you know that that bolt's come loose and you need to re-Loctite and retension that bolt. Make sure you do your lock nuts as well. It's just always good to have every thread under the suspension with a pen mark on it. Make sure you know that anything's coming loose at any time through operation of the vehicle. Rightio, so we've got the Panhard adjusted to the right length. All the bolts are torqued up. The lock nuts have been jammed up nice and tight against each other and Loctite's been applied. Once that's all done, your vehicle's ready to hit the road.